$85, 90, 75, and 110. Which statistic would be misleading for this particular set of data? Did you choose A, B, C, or D? Alright, the correct answer actually is C. It is the mode. Can somebody explain why it's the mode? Why would it be misleading? Leonard.
Well, it's going to be misleading because the mode is actually the number in the set that appears the most.
Right.
And all those numbers appear one time.
So, go ahead.
What happens?
I'm waiting for you to finish. Okay, so part of what you said is right. The mode is a number that comes up the most. But why is that answering the question? So the question is, which statistic will be considered misleading? So those are all of the data points. And misleading is what I'm looking for, something that's going to mislead me. Mislead me means lead me down the wrong path, right? So he said it's the mode, which is right, but why is it the mode? Donald?
Because mean is when you add up all the numbers and divide it by the numbers you have.
Right, which means it's a calculated average. So this tells me the average by actually taking the numbers and calculating. You're right. Okay.
Median is like
Calling somebody to help you out.
The median is the middle number of a number set.
True, and we already know what mode is because Leonard already said it. What's the range? Labrisha?
When you subtract the largest number or the smallest number from the largest number.
Exactly, so it tells you the spread or the difference between the highest number and the lowest number. Now, we still don't understand why the mode would be misleading though. Why would it be misleading? Esther?
Because it says the daily profit, and since there's two 110s, most people think, oh, let's do the daily profit, and it's not. It was just those 2 days.
Exactly. Can you say that last part a little bit louder so people can hear you? Y'all should be tracking Esther and listening to what she's saying. But speak up a little bit because I can barely hear you.
Because 110 is repeated, most people would consider that the daily profit would most likely be 110 because it appears more than once.
Exactly. All of these would be somewhat accurate as far as what the daily profits look like. It's a mixture. The range is showing me that there's a mixture of data. That's why the range is 35. The mean, you actually calculate it, so that's probably the best statistic to use. And then the median, when we actually found the median, it was about 90 and the average was 94, so that's close to what the mean was. But the mode was 110, which was very high in relation to the other types of statistics. So you would want to think, oh, they must have made $110 every day, but that's not really the case. So the mode of 110 would be a little bit misleading because it would make me think that they made a lot more money during that bake sale than they actually did. So good job. All right, remember your CLCT countdown has a Friday. You need to do that Friday. I am collecting it for a grade on Monday when we come back. So go ahead and put that either in your folder or in your agenda and take the note sheet out of your folders, and write your header on that sheet, please. You don't need the grids out of your folder just yet, just the note sheet. Can I have someone read the objective out loud for us, loud and clear, so that everyone can hear? Jemiah.
Scholars will make a table of values and use the table to graph an equation in order to solve problems.
Very good. So yesterday we talked about determining the independent and dependent variables in a given situation. Today we're going to take it a step further and connect how an equation looks when we graph it on a coordinate plane and when we have a table of values, also known as an input-output table. So the first blank is table, second blank is graph. When you have that written, put your pencils down so I know that I can move on. Waiting on 2. Waiting on 1. He needs his. Y'all remember y'all have the note sheets for the people in the front. Alright, so yesterday, again, we talked about identifying the independent and dependent variables. Today, we're going to connect the 3 with equations, tables, and graphs. So let's just make sure we remember the major key points from yesterday. So we're going to do a couple of true-false questions from yesterday. And you're just going to tell me whether it's true or false by writing T or F, or true or false. If you choose to write the whole word, that's fine. Starting with number 1. Independent variable is affected by the dependent variable. Is that true or false? The independent variable is affected by the dependent variable. Alright, statement 2. A variable is an amount that can change. A variable is an amount that can change. 3. An equation is a statement that 2 quantities are equal. 4. An ordered pair is a pair of numbers used to locate a point on a plane. And lastly, the dependent variable relies on the value of the independent variable. The dependent variable relies on the value of the independent variable. Alright, so let's see. Number 1. The independent variable is affected by the dependent variable. That statement is
False.
false. The independent variable affects the dependent variable. So it's not the other way around. You need to know what the independent variable is to get the dependent variable. 2, a variable is an amount that can change. That is what? True. That's true. That's what variable means. The root vary means to change. An equation is a statement that 2 quantities are equal. True or false? True. That's true. The beginning of equation kind of gives it away to you. An equation, things are equal. Hold on, I'll take a question in a second. 4, an ordered pair is a pair of numbers that are used to locate a point on a plane. Is that true or false? True. That's true. And lastly, the dependent variable relies on the value of the independent variable. True or false? True. True. Dependent. It depends on the independent. Question.
Number 3. It doesn't always have to be. It can be 3 numbers.
Nope. With an equal sign, there's always going to be something on one side of the equal sign and something on the other side of the equal sign. Now, if I change it to something else that it's equal to, I can sometimes use, so this is what I'm referring to. If I have 5 plus 2 is equal to 7, I can, or 7 plus 0, for instance, like I can have that, but it's still just 2 amounts, because when I find the value of this is 7. When I find the value of this is 7. So it's only 2 amounts on each side of the equal sign.
But what if you say like it's 3 plus 5 plus 2?
I see what you're saying. You're saying if there's more than 2 numbers on one side. Yeah, that is when it says there are 2 equal quantities. That means that everything on one side is equal to everything on the other side. So it's not talking about how many numbers are on each side. If that makes sense. Now I understand your question. Good point. So it's the value of everything on either side of the equal sign that makes it an equation. All right. So here are 4 examples of equations. 3x equals 33, 2y equals 4z, that's a z, not a 2. M plus 5 equals 11, and m minus 3 equals p. We know that they're all equations, but they're different type equations. differences between these equations? I want you to turn to the people at your table and take a look at each of these equations and analyze what the differences are between these four equations. If I were trying to find the solution to the variables, right? Because whenever we have variables, the goal is to always figure out the value of the variables. What are the differences between those four? Talk about it give you about 3 minutes, and then we're gonna share out and come back together and discuss it together.
Okay, when I said variable, I said that on the second one, and it's a two-step equation. Okay, let me sit over here.
One number is 33, and then there's a whole number left. And then the second one is with 4Z. And then Z is like the top number.
But if I divide by 0 on that side, and then I divide by 0 on that side, so what do you think?
I can do number 1. It's like 3x. I get 3. Number 2 is probably saying 2 times 2. No, cause what you do? And then 4 times. Oh, 2. The y probably is 2. Because 4 times 2, that v minus 2, and then 8.
The second one I have is multiplying and then
Because I don't know.
equal sign. Another variable.
Inverse goes.
It's what?
I need to
It's variable. I don't even know about inverse operation.
But you still have to know it, though. You still have to get there. So I'm going to be
Whereas with the first one, x equals 11. It has to. Is there any other way that I can multiply by 3 and get 30? No. But for the second one here and that last one, I can give you different values. Does that make sense? Alright. What are some things that you notice that are different? If you hear something that you agree with, just snap if you agree. We don't have to repeat the same thing over and over again. So you can let me know that you agree with them and we can hear something different. Makita.
I said the variables have different values.
Okay. The variables have different values. Can you be specific? Which equations are you referring to?
The first two equations because
That's okay.
3x is equal to 33, but in the second one, 2y is equal to 4z. So the answers to both of those two problems, they're different. So it has to be the variable that changes.
Okay. I don't think I understood the last part. The first part I get that the variables are equal to different numbers. Does somebody want to add something to that or just add something else? Kimberly?
Well, like some of them they're independent and some are dependent.
Some like which one which?
The first two are dependent and
Depending on what?
dependent on the other numbers. Well, that number and the other two.
You keep saying that, and I'm not sure what that is because there are 4 different
And
equations.
number 1,
Okay.
the x
Hands down while
is
she's speaking. Go ahead.
In number 1, the x is dependent on number 3, and then in number 2, the y is dependent on number.
Let me ask you this. Would you be able to tell me what the value of x is by looking at that first one?
Yes,
What is x?
11.
Could it be anything else? No. So it wasn't dependent on anything. I know that this can only be 11 because 3 times 11 is the only thing that's going to give me 33. So it's not dependent on the 3. It is going to, you need to multiply by 3 to get 33, but it's not necessarily dependent on it, if that makes sense. You sure? Do somebody want to add something else, Mashad?
No, I don't want to add.
No, just add something else.
Oh, I said that some maybe are two-step equations.
Okay. Referring to, y'all gotta give me what you're talking about. Because there are 4 equations here.
The second one.
The second one is, what 2 steps am I gonna do to solve that? I think y'all are starting to realize the point that I wanted you to make. Wazelle, did you want to add something before I kind of jump into that? Yes.
With the two-step equation we was talking about, when you have to put the variables on one side, the numbers on one side, and what Kimberly was talking about the input variable, the n on the fourth one, the n, the 3 is depending on the n to get the answer. If I said that right.
No, you didn't say that right. Say it again. The n, the p is dependent on the n
to get
Okay, so